Hey, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share 4 traditional foods that I personally make time for right now. And I want to let you know that I am still in that in-between season. We're not on our land yet, but we will be in the spring. But I've always loved learning traditional skills and eating foods that actually increase our health instead of slowly taking away. First up is kombucha. This one is actually really new for me. One of my clients gave me a SCOBY, which is the little alien you're looking at right now, from his wife's batch of kombucha, and it has just grown from there. I was really intimidated at first of kombucha just because fermentation feels very homestead core, and I am still learning. I was really thinking, am I qualified to be raising a SCOBY in my kitchen? But I decided, why not try it? And once I started, I actually realized it's way simpler than I thought. Right here, I am actually tearing the SCOBY apart because it's gotten too big, and now I can make 2 half-gallon batches. It's essentially just a fermented sweet tea, and then you can ferment it again and make a carbonated drink, which is what you see here. And it is so great for you. It's naturally fermented, so it contains probiotics. It supports your gut health, digestion, microbiome diversity. The next one is honey garlic, and this one is so easy. If you've never made it, it's literally just raw honey and garlic, and then you let it ferment in a dark cabinet. And over time, the natural bacteria and yeast start to break things down and becomes this powerful living food. Because it's fermented, it's going to create gases, so you do have to kind of burp the jar. And the honey becomes this very liquid. It really changes consistency, and the garlic is not garlicky. Like, it's very mild, and it's so good for you because it's fermented. It supports your gut health and digestion, just like the kombucha. But the garlic has antimicrobial properties, and the honey is a prebiotic, and it's an antioxidant. So this is a great staple for cold and flu season. If someone has like a sore throat or they feel like something's coming on, I love just like eating a couple cloves every now and then. It's so yummy. Number 3 is grass-fed tallow. This is fat rendered from our grass-fed cow, and I love this process because it represents using the whole animal. Traditional cultures didn't waste anything. They used the whole animal. They used the meat, the bones, the organs, and the fat. And fat's not the enemy. Fat actually contains fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A, D, E, and K2. And these vitamins help support our hormones, our brain health, bone health, immune function. So when we throw fat away, we're literally throwing away nutrition. I also want to add in that it's very important that we eat fat from animals that have been raised well, because fat can store toxins. So when we eat an animal that was raised poorly, maybe in a feedlot, wasn't raised in its natural environment, it very likely consumed a lot of toxins and had exposure to a lot of toxins. So therefore its fat has a lot of toxins, and we then eat those toxins. But when you eat a grass-fed cow that's living a very happy pasture life, it's exposed to and eats less toxins, so therefore the fat is cleaner. Another reason why I love tallow is the high smoke point. If you've never heard that term, smoke point just means the temperature at which an oil or fat starts to smoke and break down. When it starts to smoke, it becomes unstable and it creates oxidation, which are just inflammatory compounds. The fat structures break down, and this creates free radicals and damages fat molecules, and that creates stress on the body and can trigger inflammation. So we want to make sure that we're heating oils appropriately. For example, tallow can be heated to a very high point. It's great for frying things, but fish oils you don't ever want to heat, or olive oil you want to stay at a very low temperature, so you would never want to fry in it. These oils have lower or very low smoke points, but tallow has very high, so it's great for frying. Number 4 is bone broth. When I am getting a cow or chicken butchered, I always ask for the bones and fat. Why not? They're just going to be tossed away anyway. And like we've talked about, traditional cultures try to use all parts of the animal. And bone broth is honestly one of the easiest, most nutrient-dense things you can make, especially if you're already sourcing whole animals. It's cheaper to make at home. Buying high quality bone broth at the store is so expensive, so making it at home just kind of makes sense, and it uses what you already have. What I do is I first roast the bones because it gives the broth a deeper, richer flavor. And then I put it into the Instant Pot with filtered water, sea salt, veggie scraps like onion ends, carrot tops, garlic. Just as I'm cooking, I will collect them in a bag and put them in the freezer to store away for my next broth making adventure. So after it cooks for like 12 to 24 hours, I am then left with a protein-rich, collagen-rich bone broth, and it usually, like bone broth usually has about 6 to 10 grams of protein per cup, depending on like the bones to water ratio and how long you simmer it. But it is great to be used like to drink first thing in the morning. You can freeze it for later, use it for soups, cook rice or vegetables with it, add it to stews. And eventually I want to learn how to can it, so I always have shelf-stable broth ready to go, because if I freeze it, then I have to thaw it, or I can just, if I'm making soup, I'll just dump it into the Instant Pot and it'll melt as the soup pressure cooks. But it just feels so nice to have it liquid and ready to go. When it's done and cooled in the fridge, it should be really jiggly. And that jiggle is just all of the collagen and gelatin that was pulled from the bones. And that's exactly what you want. And the best bones for broth are joint bones, knuckles, feet, anything with a lot of connective tissue, because that's where all the collagen lives. Thank you so much for watching and coming along on this journey with me. I'm your Homestead nutritionist, and I love sharing all things traditional foods, gardening, and learning how to start a homestead even before we're on the land. If you want nutrition you can actually trust, plus real-time learning as I figure out homestead life, make sure to subscribe and follow along. We're building health and intention and learning the old ways together, and I'm really glad you're here.